all the data is open source, 100%. So you can completely recreate any node in the system independently. So if there was any interference, you'd notice immediately.
By the way, on the topic of Grok, it's actually pretty good at criticizing you, which is great.
Okay.
I asked what has Elon Musk been wrong about? It's actually
What does it say?
So it says mostly lists rigorously all the times you predicted, like promised when something will be released, and it wasn't released.
Is a strong word.
Okay, predicted. But the opener is really nice. Elon Musk, the man who has been wrong about more things than a wrong-o-meter in a wrong factory. And then it goes on to list.
That's pretty funny. Wait, can I see it? I'm like, I haven't seen this before. This is cool.
Oh, sure. I mean, what has Elon Musk been? Elon Musk been wrong about? Well, where do I begin? I guess this is new. Elon Musk has made quite a few blunders in his time, and I'm not just talking about his dance moves at the Tesla Cyber Rodeo. First off, let's talk about the infamous funding secured tweet. This is actually different than what it gave me before, which is a bullet point list. Here's more narrative structure. Cybertruck unveiling, where he's supposedly unbreakable windows.
Not correct.
Which part?
Well, the first part, I did actually have the funding secured, and there was a big trial in San Francisco, a big civil trial, and the jury found me not guilty. Unanimous finding of a San Francisco jury.
And here it's kind of implying that it was not in fact secured.
I think this is taking things from the press. Yeah, that is not correct. The reason I agreed to the fine for the SEC was not because the SEC was correct. That was extremely bad behavior by the SEC, corruption, frankly. But if I did not agree to pay the fine, Tesla would have gone bankrupt immediately. So I was told by our CFO that the banks would immediately suspend our lines of credit. And if they suspend our lines of credit at that time, we would have gone bankrupt instantly. So there would never have been an opportunity for a trial because Tesla would be dead. So really, if this is like someone holding a gun to your kid's head and saying, pay $20 million and admit there's like a hostage negotiation.
Was that story fully told? I mean, SEC in its best form could be a force for good.
It should be. But not once did the SEC go after any of the hedge funds who were nonstop shorting and distorting Tesla. Not once. They would lie flat. The hedge funds would lie flat out on TV for their own gain at the expense of retail investors. Not once, literally 1,000 times. Not once did the SEC pursue them.
How do you explain this failure?
The incentive structure is messed up. Because the lawyers at the SEC are not paid well. It's a fairly low-paying job. But what they're looking for is a trophy. From the SEC, they're looking for something they put on, basically their LinkedIn.
Yeah.
From that, they can get a job at a high-paying law firm. That's exactly what the lawyer here did. And the reason they don't attack the hedge funds is because those hedge funds employ those law firms, and they know if they attack the hedge funds, they're affecting their future career prospects. So they sell small investors down the river for their own career. That's what actually happens. Regulatory capture.
Regulatory capture.
Yeah, not good. So the only reason I accepted that thing technically was not an admission. It's neither admit nor deny guilt. But the only reason I agreed to that at all was because I was told Tesla would be bankrupt otherwise. So if there was an SEC investigation like this, banks would suspend funding. We're bankrupt immediately at the time. Mm-hmm. Now we're in a much stronger position.
Take that, Grok.
Yes, unfortunately, Grok is taking too much from the conventional media. Also, that guy was not a cave diver.
Oh, there's There's a time where Elon called a British cave diver a quote pedo guy after the diver criticized Musk's plan to rescue a group of boys trapped in a Thai cave. That little outburst earned him another lawsuit, and he had to apologize and pay a settlement.
That's false. There was no settlement. There was a court case, which the guy who was not a cave diver and was not part of the rescue team, filed a lawsuit against me and lost, and he received nothing. So in this case, it is wrong. It is also, I guess, taking this from the conventional media.
Actually, there's an interesting question here.
I mean, these are public court cases.
Yes.
Both the SEC civil case, where the civil complaints on the SEC guys lost unanimous jury verdict in San Francisco. They picked San Francisco because they thought it was the place I was most likely to lose, and a unanimous verdict in my favor. The LA trial was also, they picked they picked that venue because they thought I was most likely to lose. Unanimous verdict in my favor. Both cases I won. Yeah.
I mean, there's an interesting question here. There seems to be a lot more clicks if a journalistic organization writes a negative article about you, Elon Musk. That's like one of the best ways to get clicks. So how do you, if you're training Grok, not train on articles that have like the misaligned incentives?
We need to add the training set of the actual legal decisions. That is a note. This is actually helpful because if you actually read the
which are public,
yeah, the court conclusions, they're completely the opposite of what the media wrote.
So always striving for like the ground truth.
Yeah.
Beyond
what did the
reporting.
Judge actually write? What did the jury and the judge actually conclude? And in both cases, they found me innocent. And that's after they jury shopped for trying to find the venue where I'm most likely to lose. No, I mean, this is obviously it can be a much better critique than this. I mean, I've been far too optimistic about autopilot.
That was the critique I got, by the way, was more about that, which is it broke down a nice bullet point list for each of your companies, the set of predictions that you made, when you'll deliver, when you'll be able to solve, for example, self-driving, and it gives you like a list. And it was kind of compelling. And the basic takeaway is like you're often too optimistic about how long it takes to get something done.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm pathologically optimistic on schedule. This is true, but while I am sometimes late, I always deliver in the end.
Except with Uber Lilith, no.
We'll see.
Okay, is there over the past year or so since purchasing X, you've become more political? Is there a part of you that regrets that?
Have I?
In this battle to sort of counterweigh the woke that comes from
I guess if you consider fighting the woke mind virus, which I consider to be a civilizational threat, to be political, then yes.
So basically going into the battleground of politics. Is there a part of you that regrets that?
Yes, I don't know if this is necessarily sort of one candidate or another candidate, but it's I'm generally against things that are anti-meritocratic or where there's an attempt to suppress discussion, where even discussing a topic is, not allowed.